Hey, what's up? It's Tiffany. Before we get started on this week's episode, please be sure to send us your requests at booshakalakapodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter X, BlueShakalakapod. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram at BooShakalakapodcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Booshakalaka Podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany, joined by my co-host, Pierre.
What have you been watching, Tiffany?
Black Christmas. I really haven't been watching anything new since last week, so no, I can't really add to the pot, but what about you?
So I have seen Gladiator 2 and
How was
Wicked.
that?
Gladiator 2 was actually really good. It was actually really good.
Did they all die in the end?
You said what?
I said, spoiler alert, did they all die in the end?
No. But I will say this. I like that a lot of if you study Rome, a lot of the things were historically accurate. Like a lot of that stuff they were doing, that's what they were doing in the Colosseums. And I was like, how the hell did they do that? But they did it. However, I will say this. There is a part in the movie when you find out something. And once you find this out, you're supposed to it's interesting because it's like the minute I found it out, I was like, oh, well, I'm rooting for this person. Why would I root for anybody other than this person? But I feel like the movie tries to get you to be like, oh no, you still need to root for this person. And I'm like, no. So it's pretty good. It was pretty good. Wicked was good as well.
It'll probably be out on video in 2 weeks before the end of the year.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, not at all. Wicked was good as well.
Good. Yeah, I don't even know that story.
So exactly, I've never seen the play, nothing like that. This is my first introduction to it. But I know Kristen Chenoweth. Like I know it's a big deal. I just had never seen it. However, I will say it didn't need to be 2 parts. The play is only 2 hours and 30 minutes. Y'all could have done this in one movie.
So basically, we're getting like an hour and 30 minutes of the play in this movie.
I think the movie was like 2 hours and 30. Like I think the movie was the length.
I'm saying if the play is 3 hours, we got an hour and 30 minutes worth of it for this movie.
Yes, basically.
She doesn't sing "Fighting Gravity" and it ends in the play. Right. That's what we're talking about, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I don't even think this is where the intermission is, though. Like I think it's really. Yeah,
they just wanted to. I think they just wanted to end on a high note. So I've seen that part where she hollers at them and then flies off. I saw that.
Not hollers. So it's like I mean, I guess
she is like, who wrote that note? Because it's not words.
If you want to do a cash grab, Hollywood do a cash grab. But I mean, they could have done it in one if they wanted to.
I would rather them take a Broadway play and make it into a motion picture than them taking a cartoon and continuing to make it into a live action motion picture or another movie and remake it. I would prefer the play. Why not? Not everybody can get to Broadway. Not everybody can get to off Broadway. Yeah. And then you're making it fantastical as opposed to watching it on Broadway. I've seen Broadway before. It was good. Yeah, me too. But I mean, I still know that I saw y'all backstage doing shit.
Right.
While the show was going on. So
yeah. Like because to your point, or counter your point, I saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, but I would never watch that movie. Yeah, it just was. It was good. Sure.
It was a Broadway play before it was a movie.
Yeah, but I would say like Rent. Like Rent,
never seen it.
You never seen the movie?
I mean, I feel there was a special. I feel like it came on Fox. In my 20s, they started singing and I turned it off. I'm not really a fan of musicals. Like the songs have to kind of draw me in and I don't want to be like, oh, I only like black, but because I can't say that because I love Disney cartoons, our old school cartoons. Yeah. Those are musicals when you really think about it. And I enjoyed those. The ones that I've seen lately just haven't stuck out to me. That's all. But again, I'm not going out chasing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not,
I think you would like Rent. But because I say I'm not a fan of musicals.
I know it's a little depressing. I heard it's about
it is depressing, but it's the songs are good though.
But that's okay. They make good music everywhere.
But this movie was not musical. It was actually pretty dreadful. So,
so this is Black Christmas 1974. The synopsis is during their Christmas break, a group of sorority girls are stalked by a stranger. Straight to the point. Let's do it. Because
I
that's
don't
what
want to.
happens.
Yeah, I don't want to do it because I was so unfulfilled. This was like edging for me. It was just, and I wonder when you suggest these movies, do you remember them from when you're 11 and you're like, oh, we should watch this? Because I remember it from when I was 11. Because
I've never seen this.
you've never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. So we're just doing the
Well,
whole. Might as well do 2006 one then. Because
so I just figured since we did the Black Xmas, Noir Xmas, Negra Xmas last year, I was like, well, let's just do the original since we haven't done it for the pod. But I didn't hate this movie at all.
Really?
It was no, because you got to think. So you're looking at it as somebody who has spent 20 plus years watching horror movies. So all of the tropes are there, but you got to think this is the originator. This was before Halloween.
I feel like it wasn't before prom night.
It had to have been. Look, this is just you just have to kind of get out of the element of, oh, we've been watching these movies. We know what's going to happen. We know this stupid fool. Because that's how I watched this.
That's not why I didn't like it.
I enjoyed it.
That's not why I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, tell me about it. Tell me about the movie.
Okay, so we start this movie off.
And don't go into too much detail.
There's not a lot of detail. It was a lot of dialogue. So it's going to be like one of those reviews. But we start this movie off like Thanksgiving. I said this last time.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. A guy from his point of view looking up into a house where there are festivities going on. That's literally how Thanksgiving started.
Oh yeah, I guess you're
right. Because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, there's this guy. I believe he's like just and we see things going on in a sorority house. It's a very nice sorority house for 1970s. And we are introduced.
They built houses with character back then.
Hello. Everything don't look the damn same. So we are introduced to the hot ass,
a wild pack of 49-year-olds.
The hot ass inside. And one's British. I don't know why. So I'm gonna just throw out some names that I recalled. We have Jess, who is the main character. We have Barb. We have Phyllis, Phil. And we have Claire, and Mrs. Mack is the house mother. Are there any other girls? I feel like there are more girls than that. Are there any other girls?
No, I think that's all of our main characters, except for the guys that we're introduced to in the movie. Yeah, those are our main. There's other people there. They have other sorority sisters there, but everybody like kind of trickles leaving because of the Christmas holiday coming up.
Okay. Well, during the party, the girls receive a phone call, and they've received this phone call before to the point.
Oh yeah,
that they call him the Moaner.
Is it me or did Jess have on a Wu-Tang sweater?
Okay, I'm not doing this with you. I thought she was the best dressed in the movie. I don't know. It was something about that yellow during Christmas time. I don't know. It was giving me everything I needed.
Okay.
But yes, and he just like moans and like, gross. Like
just it's more than just. I was eating. And he was like making gagging noises, and then
gargling. That's what
the
subtitle said. Gargling noises.
Then my God, pig noises.
Yeah. Then he goes on.
He sounded like Reagan when she was possessed. He really.
Then he goes on and he says, "Oh, I want your pink cunt," and then he like just very sexually suggestive. He's obviously white because he said.
Yes,
when he says the word cock. So I'm like, oh, this is white.
He says, "Suck my juicy cock."
Yeah. Just not flattering. Zeros across the board.
I'm gonna kill you. He ends it off with, "I'm gonna kill you." So he really tanked himself then. So if I was at least bit interested, I wasn't anymore.
Not you were like, maybe he has something going on. And then when you heard that, you're like, well, he blew it.
It is 1974. You know that meme where the girl's like, well. Well, like what if
yes. Maybe. But Jess doesn't give him anything. They hang up the phone. It's just like, they call him pervert, whatever. They're over it. So Claire What about
Oh
me?
yeah, you're right. You're
Oh,
right. You're
oh,
right.
well,
She's
no. I
next.
mean, do you want to talk about that? I feel like that's an unnecessary detail. But McHenry is the house murderer. They give her a gift. She goes
No, I was just
upstairs.
saying she got there.
Oh, well, she goes upstairs and she has a drink. She's a closet alcoholic. But Claire is disgusted by this phone call. She's like, boys, I'm a 1970s lesbian. So she goes upstairs and she's like packing because she's apparently going home with her dad for Christmas. He's supposed to meet her tomorrow. He don't meet her tomorrow because she heads into a room. This dumbass, hey, what's that? You guys, what would be there? What would be in a dark corner?
The only thing that would have been there is a cat because they do
Right.
have a house cat.
They do have a,
That's the only thing that would have been there. And
what,
the cat would
is
have
the cat
said
named Claude, Maud? What's the cat's
Claude.
name?
Claude. He's a grown businessman.
Right. So she goes over and she's actually choked with a
she's
like a wax shower curtain. And
I think it was a plastic bag or like a the little plastic they put over your clothes that stick to the dry cleaners.
So yeah, so she's asphyxiated. She's done for. She's dead.
And he takes her. We see like the shadow of the killer taking her body up into the attic, which would have been so. It would have been such an inconvenience to get her up there.
Yeah,
because the opening is like 3x3, it's straight up. Mm-hmm. Like he would have had to. He would have to put on her back like she was piggyback. Oh, he got to hoist her in like that. Yeah. I'm raising the roof.
Break your leg, Kiki. So yeah, that's our first murder. So we starting off with it. So I thought the movie had me.
And then Jess's boyfriend calls and she's like, I got something important to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you in person. I hate when people do that. Just tell me, just tell me from front to finish in person. She hang up, and then Claire, we do see Claire's body with the Reynolds wrap plastic over her face, rocking in the attic.
You can literally see her body from the window. I'm so over it.
I would not. Like, this is what, like, when people, like, when you see, like, celebrities and people with a lot of money, just period, and they get these big, extravagant houses, I would be so scared. I'd be checking my closets and under the bed in my one bedroom before I go to sleep if I'm feeling a little uneasy. I don't like attics. Have I lived in a house with an attic? Not an attic like that where you can walk around it. No.
Yeah.
Like you can get up there and push some boxes to the back if you want to. Girl. But it's just creepy. So because I mean these girls, this is the last place they're gonna check.
Wait a minute. They have an attic and a basement. Isn't that a faux pas? I feel like you're not supposed to have both.
No, I don't know. So the next morning, Claire's father arrives and he's like, oh, Claire was supposed to meet us at the train station. So I just got to thinking, if he lived close enough, why did he just pick her up? I was confused.
Why is he just going up to random people talking about, do you know my daughter?
I think did the guy have on a fraternity jacket?
No, a kid had threw something at him and he walked over to him and was like, hey, sir, I should be keeping an eye on him. He's like, yeah, you should. He's like, hey, watch your mouth, old man. I play football and I'll beat your ass. Then they start the conversation and he's like, hey, do you know my daughter, Claire? She didn't show up. And he's like, obviously Claire is not fast because he barely knows who she is, but he knows the sorority. He's like, oh, that's our sister sorority. But, there was some girls there over there. I ain't see Claire. Like, I feel like she don't be out there like that, honestly. She didn't dress like she was out there like that.
Claire's a good girl.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Despite what her father don't think so. So he's like, hey, I can show you how to get to her sorority house though. It's a lot of shit going on. I can't even remember the sequence in which things happen. Do we want to talk about Jess and Peter's conversation right now? I feel like it happens today. I just don't know if it happens in between.
Well, we see Mr. Harrison, who's Claire's dad. We see him get to the house and he talks to Miss McHenry and she's like, oh, I'll help you find Claire. Not a problem. He goes in and he's like, what is this sex dungeon you have my daughter living in? She's not into any of this. They got like, it was on the wall, a picture of a grandma flipping the bird. There's people having sex in a garden.
But it's like a peace sign. I was like, what kind of shit is this in the 1970s?
Hey, yeah, the hippies, the movement, the weed. Come on, baby. God, peace and love. And I'm still wondering how those people turn into people today. I guess these people today weren't hippies.
No, I feel like a lot of them went to Woodstock, had their time, and then they became the corporate people that they hate. Honestly, I just feel like they grew into
I just
the
think they
people.
were just the other bunch of people.
Because where are the hippies?
Gay? I don't know.
Not gay.
Yeah.
So
Jess meets up with Peter on one of the most important days of his life to tell him that she's pregnant and she's getting an abortion.
again, maybe I just don't know what the 70s were like, because I just thought that was a very interesting conversation to have in a movie. In the set, like I was very surprised that abortion was a thing. I mean, I know it was a thing, but I like a thing that they would put in a movie and make it just so, like, she's like, I'm getting an abortion, and he's like, you ain't gonna ask me? I don't have to ask you. Like, that's something I would expect today, like that kind of mentality. Because I feel like back then, I mean, women could only get bank accounts like what, 5 years before this movie came out.
And I think that's why the Black Xmas, the one that came out in 06, they weren't really big on like strong women, positive sex roles, but the newer one they were, because remember that was the antithesis of everything, because the girl was assaulted at a party. So I think that, like, people hate on that movie. I didn't hate that movie. We didn't hate that movie. But yes, this is like literally about a strong woman. It's like, you're not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do. My body, my choice, Peter. Get your 40-year-old ass out of here.
Oh, he was so 40.
And he just like, I just couldn't believe it. Now we're back at the sorority house. Now, is this a party going on with a fake Santa cussing kids out and stuff? What is going on?
Baby, I didn't understand what. Maybe it was because, I'm thinking sorority, so maybe it was like a little charity event, like, oh, the kids can come over to the sorority house. We have a Santa, take pictures. Like, that was their thing. But I was like blown away. He's just like he literally starts off, fuck, bitch. I'm like, and the kids are like, I'm like, well, maybe the kids aren't right by him, so vent. The kids go sit on his lap and he's still cursing. I'm like, oh,
he acting like Cartman, Terrence Phillip. Like, it was a lot, like cursing when cursing doesn't need to be there. Like a lot of nowadays R&B.
So that was such a slug. And the sorority girl just sitting there like, isn't he just awful? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we
smoking a Joe?
Like, what are
the 70s were insane.
Like, literally.
Here comes the call again. Like, it's like, and we hear somebody asking for Billy, Agnes. Yeah, Billy, Agnes, where's Agnes? Where's my? What's so crazy? We know, like, as a viewer watching it, it's like 4 or 5 people making these noises on the phone, but we're supposed to believe it's just one person. But it sounds like a straight out woman, and then it sounds like a man, then it sounds like a pig, then it sounds like
a child. Like, it was a lot.
What's the guy's name that does all the voiceovers for all the cartoons?
Not the guy's name. Like, there's just one. Was it there's Jason Marsden?
No. Jason Marsden.
He was on Step by Step.
I know who that was. He did the voice of Aladdin.
No, that was Scott. What are you doing? That was no. The voice of Aladdin was Scott. He was on Full House. Jason Marsden.
Oh, they look just alike.
Girl, they do. I mean, white guy, dark hair. So,
what's his name?
I'm trying to think who you're talking about.
Frank Welker.
Who is that?
Scooby Doo. He does Scooby Doo. No, I'm not thinking about him. I cannot think of him. He. Oh my God, it's gonna bother me now. Let's just go with Seth MacFarlane. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate you now. Okay,
but that's not who I was thinking about. For some reason I can't think of his name, but he did like all of the Looney Tunes and stuff. Oh man, I think it might be Frank Welker.
Just do Bugs Bunny. Just Google Bugs Bunny and see who the voice actor was. But anyway,
whatever. Yeah, he a jack of all trades, got all the voices. But our girls, these are some real sorority sisters, because they're like, hey, Claire's dad is here. We have not seen Claire. Claire packed her bags. Claire is missing. Barb and Phil, which is short for Phyllis, go over to the police station to report Claire's disappearance to Sergeant Nash. And Nash just, he don't care. Does he think they're lying? Like, what's wrong with Sergeant Nash? Is he dumb?
Clearly. So yeah, he thinks they're lying, but one of the sorority sisters, I don't even know her name because I feel like she's not part of their group, but she's like not the strong one, maybe the tough one, maybe the one, the little sassy one.
That's Barb.
Oh, that's Barb? Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's in there, and she he asked for their number.
But this wasn't even funny to me. Like, I didn't even laugh.
You didn't laugh at this?
No.
She tells them
who
that
gives their phone number out in a word?
Yeah, she said the phone number is fallacious. I didn't understand. Maybe this was a 70s thing. I didn't understand it because she was like, it's a new. I didn't understand that. He's like, FE, it's a new. I was like, what?
Isn't FE the periodic table element for iron?
I didn't understand. Like, maybe again, this is a 70s joke. It's very dated because she's like fellatio, and he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, FE, it's a new. I forgot the word they were using, but it's a new contact tracer number. I don't know because I didn't
I'm
understand.
The new Jan Brady. Something, it's the new AAVE. It's the EAVE.
So, moving on.
Later, so that doesn't work. That
no.
doesn't work, basically. And what's her name? Jess goes and talks to Chris, who is dating Claire. But it seems like a very interesting dynamic because he seems like a really popular football sports jock guy, and he's dating this, what as the girls call her, a prude, because they know she's a virgin, which is like, so look, if I could be one again, I would.
Right. But he's really cool. He's really cool. He's really helpful. And he's like he's the most helpful guy in the movie, I would say. The most helpful boyfriend, at least. So he, he meets the dad. They all get together at the house and they're going on a search. They're going to go for a search party, an old-fashioned search party with the police.
Because he's the one that actually went into the police station, raised hell.
He actually made them. Yes. If it wasn't for Claire's boyfriend, they would, which is weird because it's like her dad was there. That's the only thing I didn't understand. Right. Like, why did this young guy have to come in and say something?
I feel like he might have had a relationship with the lieutenant because he goes in and is like, Lieutenant, what the hell? Like they were on a first name basis. He meets over at his mother's restaurant.
Probably because he is dinner. Like, star quarterback football. They usually are pretty popular around town. Right. So, Lord, I'm losing my color. So the
search party.
Go for a search party. The police, all the sorority sisters, like Tiffany said, they're down for their girl. Like, we got to go find her. So a lot of things are happening simultaneously because everyone doesn't go to the search party. And who doesn't go to the search party? Well, Mrs. Mack. She tells them before they
all dressed in black.
She tells them before they even go, like, I'm going to spend Christmas with my sister, so I may not be here when you get back. I knew she was dead as a doormat. Yeah. I knew she was dead. I knew she was dead as a fireplace right then and there.
It's a fireplace.
For me. So
okay.
She goes upstairs and starts
dead will suffice, period.
She goes upstairs and starts packing her suitcase while drinking her alcohol. Now, this part, I don't know. She's not exactly a character I don't like, but she's like a mean old biddy. Like, why are you drinking? Your suitcase ain't packed, but you done already called the taxi. What's happening, ma'am?
Yeah, like the Uber will leave you in 5 minutes.
Hello, in look, 4 minutes if you're nasty. So,
right, but she hears we see Claude. We finally see Claude again, and he up there about to meow 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 mix Claire's body and eat her or something up in the attic. Like,
he's hungry.
I feel like a cat would eat a person.
Mm-hmm.
They crazy, but Miss Mac hears the attic.
Yeah,
she finally
how she heard him from the attic with the taxi driver blowing the horn.
So I think that the killer opened up that hatch because I think they were going to head down. So that's why the sounds were, she could hear the sounds at that point. I really think that's what happened. But yeah, she goes this part. This is why I said the entrance to the location, to the attic, is very, very small. She goes up there and she's like, "Whew, I gotta clean this place out." And I'm like, in there where the Christmas decorations were? But okay, whatever. She looks around and she actually sees Claire's dead body in a rocking chair. And my girl has time to just lean back down.
She doesn't. And then she even sees the killer in the corner of the attic with a hook in his hand. And she just opens her mouth. She opens like Judge Judy.
Just says, "Bullseye."
And he lets the hook go, and it latches into her mouth, and then he pulls her by the rope and pulls her up and then murders her?
We don't see it. It's off screen.
I mean, he did all that. We don't see any of these murders, honestly. But
right after that, he goes crazy and starts trashing the attic. Like, what happened? Did you not want to kill this old lady?
Yeah, I don't. It was just so creepy. Like, what is?
He tears the place up.
Yes,
but yeah,
and nobody hears it because everybody's at search party. So
yep.
And then the taxi driver's pissed. Back at the search party, they're walking around, Claire. And then we get an unseen murder. I mean, an unseen body. One of the girls screams.
We find a dead body.
Yes, they find a dead body. They find a dead body, and not one they wanted to see. And they just start screaming, and everyone just keeps coming up and screaming. Everyone keeps coming up and screaming, and I thought they were going to show it to us, but they don't. So apparently, we learn later that actually what they saw was a little girl who was murdered in the park.
So they said a little girl, and then they said a high school girl, which I'm not, in my mind, those are both little girls.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess maybe like 15 or 16.
Yeah, it made it more to me. I just thought it was a child, and I didn't let anything they said, because it to me that made it more terrifying. That made the movie scarier. Because why are you murdering children, sir?
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. So everybody's freaked out. Everybody's like, oh my god, little girl.
The search party is off because now the police got to do an investigation on who the hell is this little girl. We got to figure out who killed this little girl. We'll holler at Claire later. She grown. And they're back at the sorority house, and it's Barb, Phyllis, and Jess. I guess everybody else is gone at this point. But Barb starts to go off because she's like, you guys blame me for this. You guys blame me. No, you blame yourself. You're literally letting us know that because you were cunt to Claire, Gemma's a fat cunt. And it's in front of Claire's dad too, because she basically called her, "Ooh, you're a virgin," like it was the biggest diss in the world. Like, so
you're a virgin who can't drive.
Right? Was Jawbreaker?
Oh my god, Clueless.
What was it?
Clueless.
And then she started sleeping with her stepbrother. Yo. Let's move on. Yeah. So she's like, I'm going to bed because I am so mad at myself, but I'm gonna act like I'm mad at you all, even though it's my fault. And I feel like the dad should have got up and punched her in the face, but he didn't. He's very, very timid, the very timid guy.
Yes.
And here's the scene. We see Peter at his recital, and while he's playing on the piano, and he's and I was like, this don't sound good. Like, I'm not. I don't make music, but I knew I knew he was messing up. He was sweating. The people in the audience that were judging his performance were like, oh, this is terrible. And obviously, because he is who he is, he blames Jess for what happened, for dropping that bomb on him, which I feel like she should have waited. I do too feel like she should have waited for that. Just let him finish that and then tell him. Like, it's a month later. I mean, not a month later. It's not like it's not like she had an appointment at 1:30 and she told him at 1. Right. Because she doesn't go to the doctor, and we don't see her have her operation or anything like that. So it was kind of weird that she would do. I don't think she liked him.
I don't trust, right? Because I don't trust people who try to give you bad news or try to do that stuff on days they know are important to you. Like, why are you trying to start an argument on somebody's birthday? Why are you, before Tiffany goes to Japan, being like, Tiffany, don't you owe me $15? Like, girl, get the fuck out of my inbox.
Like our parents. She's like, Mom, I'm going to Jamaica. Oh, I heard 18 people got their heads cut off with machetes, but allegedly, like, come on. Why is the news always negative instead of, I hope you have a great trip. Be safe.
Right.
That's it. Make good decisions.
So yeah, she fucked him over.
Time for another call.
But
it's time for another call.
This man calls so much time during, like, I would just like to say, you can just bet your bottom dollar he's gonna call after every murder. But he calls more than that, which pissed me off. It was a lot. It was
yeah. But this time only
I didn't even mean
our Just girls did. You did. You'd bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow.
This is what happens.
You brought it up.
This is what happens when you watch so many movies.
Just gets another phone call, and this time, I'm sorry, I said it before. This time it sounds like two people, and she's searching for Mrs. Mack around the house. She can't find her, so Jess said, I've had enough of this. So she calls the police. It's like, hey, we have been getting obscene phone calls. What can you do about it? Jess is our only smart person, which what can be done, right? And Peter shows up. He's like, Jess. Wait, we do see Peter smash his piano as if it was the piano's fault that he bombed. He should have been smashing his fingers or his head because that was the cause of it. I mean, come on. But he shows up and he's like, hey, Jess, look, we need to talk. I don't want to be a conductor anymore or whatever the hell he was trying to do. I'm going to drop out and I think that we should get married. And Jess is like, no, why the hell would you do that? Why the hell would you think I would agree to that?
It was the worst proposal I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to drop out of my profession and we're going to get married. Sir, what?
It's worse than the $1,000 that Tiffany gave Jade and Jesse. Like, we can't do anything with this. It's not 1908.
She didn't even give them the full 1,000. She gave them 500. So the fact that
they spent it all on the wedding, those snacks that they never ate, and the hotel room.
Because, girl, my thing is, he talking about, hey, I'll put up a deposit on an apartment. I was like,
how many roommates are we gonna have
with $1,000? I'll get a job. I'll get a job. I'll help put you through college, sir. Where? In what world? Because this was 1998. What college? Get out of my
Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College.
Did you not? Mind you, remember the house that she was at when he picked her up in the beginning, sir? He gonna pay for my car.
It was a lot. It would have been like, hey, let's just wait this year. We'll be together in a year.
1 year, literally 1 year.
But so Jess is talking to Peter and she's like, look, I can't really talk about this right now. We were on a search party looking for Claire and a girl was murdered. Peter's like, I can fuck about that. I don't care. And he threatens her because he's like, look, okay, fine. You don't got to marry me, but you're not doing it to my baby. And I'm like, okay, I feel like it's just a clump of cells right now. Like, what are we doing? Like, if Jess really felt so strong about this and made her decision, she shouldn't have even talked to Peter about it.
Honestly, she should have just told him, yeah, I had one. That's the norm. That's the thing that I see the most. Is like, oh yeah, just want to let you know I had one. Deal with it how you deal with it, how you want to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know. So we see our Lieutenant Fuller, who is actually Nancy's dad from Nightmare on Elm Street, if you're nasty. He gets wind that the sorority house has been receiving these obscene phone calls, and he's like, and now a girl is missing, and then we found a dead girl in the woods. He's like, don't you think we should look into this? Like, he's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1 is hello. So they get somebody over to the house to tap the phone. Oh, I'm sorry, that's from Clue. You didn't get it. Oh. Don't worry, it's on the list. They get over to the house and they start to tap the phone. He's actually investigating. He's asking all the good questions, but he does not check the house.
No, they tap the phone and leave.
If somebody is missing, you would think they would check the house, because what if she went to the attic and tripped and fell and bled out or something like that? You would check and especially the basement. You would check every crevice.
Do they even go in her room? I feel like they don't even go in her room.
Because she had they went in her room because he looked at her because they saw her suitcase was there and everything. Remember?
Okay, Okay, I was like,
she never left.
I feel like the dad didn't go in her room.
I'm not sure if they did. They didn't see it, but this is the part of the movie where I was like, something's up. So they tap the phone and he's like, are there any other phones in the house? And Jess is like, oh, just our sorority mother's house, and she has her own line. I'm like, did you have your own line when you were a kid?
No.
I'm a little bit older than you. I have my own phone line, but it was also we also had dial up internet, so we needed another phone line. Because who the hell was gonna call when I was on the Backstreet Boys chat?
We didn't have internet till I was like in high school, so yeah.
Peter is still lurking outside, and Claire's body has got to start stinking by now. I mean, I know it's only been 1 day, but I don't know how long it takes for decomp to start. But
Well, see, I don't, because they always talk about the release that happens. How long does that take? Because I feel like you would smell that immediately.
You would think.
Yeah.
But you don't, because the Christmas carolers are coming by and they're
child.
It was sweet. Are you listening? Snow is glistening. A beautiful sight we're having tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. One of my favorite Christmas movies. Oh, we have to give our Christmas movie recommendations at the end. We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're singing, but while they're singing, Barb is
dying. So the killer is in Barb's room as she's sleeping. Now she does wake up just in time to see herself being murdered. The killer grabs her glass unicorn statue, because she's a girl, and
it's ridiculously sharp.
Yeah. Hey. Somebody just added me on PlayStation. But yeah,
they're gonna call you the N-word. Don't worry about it.
So he stabs her with the sharp come on now, what unicorns?
It was like 9 inches. Unicorn horn should be like 1 or 2. Like,
it's not even supposed to be sharp, because it's supposed to be just a little twirly little. But anyway, he stabs her repeatedly, like blang 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 blang, and he keeps talking about Billy and Agnes, and he's pissing me off. Stop talking to me while you killing me.
They give you nothing. Nope.
Nothing.
Like, at least, but guess what it's time for, baby? Another phone call. Or as the kids today do it, like this.
Now, as the carolers, hold on, because as the carolers are wrapping up this song, and Jess is like, "Oh my God, you were so good." They were mid at best. A woman, I guess the woman who's in charge of the carolers, she comes up, she's like, "Kids, get home, get the fuck up out of here. There was a girl found, a girl." And she's like, "Yeah, girl, I know. I was on the search party where we found her." And then the phone starts ringing. It gets really weird, because she's like, "Your phone's ringing. We were just having a fucking conversation." Like, I don't know. That was weird to me. That threw me off. I was like, "Girl, yeah. I'm talking to you. I think you're in front of me. You're kind of, I'm trying to, but okay, bye." It was a way to get out of the conversation, because she didn't want to talk to her no way. She wanted to get home. So yeah, it's curfew. It's curfew, like in Scream, red right hand. So yeah, the phone rings, and this, the police are trying to trace it. This shit made
I don't know how that works.
So angry, because so realistically, y'all, when they trace calls in movies, yes, you know how they like, "Oh my God, yeah, hurry up." It does take a while. It's not like it's not like quick. So I like that they make it seem like it took a while, but the fact that he was going and looking at shells, I was like, what is going on? Like, this is so
all of the phone numbers are housed in one location back then.
Hell no. Hell no. That ain't my job.
Yeah, so he has to go see which machines are lighting up.
I bet he's getting paid $8 an hour. That shit looks so hard. Like,
yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But on this phone call, the caller emulates part of the conversation she had with Peter. So they're repeating stuff that was said. So the cop is like, "Wait, what is this?"
And even Jess is like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. So they start surmising that they think that it's Peter. Peter did it. Mm-hmm. And they still, they can't trace the call. So they're like, make sure they don't give her a definitive time. They're just like, keep him on the phone. And it's like, what, like 1-2 hours? How long do I need to keep him on the phone? They never tell her how long, but they say that all over. They call again. No, she gets another call, but this time it's really Peter. He's calling, he boo-hooing. He's like, not my baby, not my baby.
Now, mind you, y'all, the phone is still tapped, so they hear this call as well. And he's just like, "Don't kill the baby. Don't kill the baby." So she hang up on Peter. She's like, "Peter, I'm killing this baby. Fuck you." So the cop called her back. He say, what is it about a baby? You killing babies over there? Are you the murderer, motherfucker?
But they quickly deduced that Peter didn't do it, because he asked her, "Hey, was Peter there when you received a phone call?" And Jess was like, "Wait, he really was. He was looking at me dead in my face, acting like he was going to kill me. So yeah, he's not this killer, but he might be another killer. But right. He's this killer.
Right. He's a karma passion killer. Get it together."
It's so crazy, because she was like, "Phew, she said, Peter's always so gentle with me sometimes." What about the other times, honey? Like, it was a lot. So Jess and Phyllis, Jess and Phil decide to lock the doors and windows in the house, but they eventually get split up because Phyllis goes to check on Barb. The door closes behind her, and we don't see her for maybe about 8 more minutes. We see her in 8 minutes.
Yes.
Another call comes on the phone. Jess is able to stay on the phone long enough, and we get the trace.
This motherfucker is singing and everything.
I mean, it was a lot. She wasn't saying anything. Like, I would have been like, all right, what do I need to get from the grocery store? Ooh, chicken. You know, I would have just been talking like I'm not on the phone anymore. Like, he would have thought I hung up, and I'm just talking in the background. Like, one thing you're not going to do is keep me on the phone. Yesterday, I got an unprovoked FaceTime call. No. Who's answering? Not me. Not ever. No.
You don't have to schedule calls with me if you call on. If I'm either doing something or I'm not. I'm going to answer. So
I'm not going to answer FaceTime. You're going to call me first and you're going to say, hey, I want to show you something. And then I'm like, okay. And then you FaceTime it.
I answer FaceTime calls. I don't think it's that big of a deal. My only issue is I've been on the phone with people who FaceTime and they're like, oh, I see your ceiling. Oh, I don't see you. And it's like, well, you called when I was doing something else. So you're going to have to just look at the ceiling.
Right. That's what I said. You got to schedule it.
Anyway, I mean, I'll be on FaceTime with you, but don't expect my face.
Nash calls over, not Nash. Wait. Yeah, so the cops realize they get back in the car because they were going to investigate Peter's piano. They were going to go see what happened over there, and they get a call that, you know, they were able to trace the call. So they find out, they're like, hey, the call is coming from 6 Pussy Way. And he's like, and the cop is like, no, you're not supposed to be tracing the calls going, you know, you're not supposed to be tracing that. You're supposed to be tracing the calls coming to there. And they're like, yeah, it's both of them. And he's like, oh my God, the call is coming from inside the house.
Right. So he's like, Nash, look, you call this bitch, you tell her to get the fuck out of the house. You tell her to get the fuck out of the house. Don't tell her anything else. Tell her to get out the house. If you fuck this up, I'll kill you. And then he's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, but he's only going to be there in 20 minutes because that's how long it takes him. I was pissed. So,
right. It was a minute. Like, I feel like at this point, they should have called the fire department or something. They can get there fast.
So Nash calls her. She answers the phone. Mind you, she's calling for Phil. She's like, Phil ain't coming.
The future.
Phil ain't coming. So then she gets the phone call. She's like, hey, who is? He's like, hey, Jess. She's like, yeah, who the fuck is this? She's like, hey, it's Officer Nash. Look, I need you to put the phone down and walk out the front door. Put the phone down. Don't ask me no questions. He makes it very clear. He says about 20 times. Don't ask me shit. Put the phone down. Walk out the front door. Because she has no melanin, she starts asking questions. What? What's wrong? Why? What's wrong? Wait, should I warn Phil and Barb? What? Huh? What? No, this was my last day on the force. I would have been like, you know what, Jess? You got it. Hang up. I would have hung up the phone. And I would have went home.
But like, Charlie, whoever was sitting next to me at my desk, Jess, get out of the house. Don't ask any questions. Charlie, you my witness? Okay, thank you.
Because I'm not.
It made me think about when Rush Hour, when Chris Tucker got up, he's like, hey, I need everybody to single file, get out of the building. And then he was like, hey, get the hell out of here. It's a bomb in this building. But he was like, you know what? This lady has no urgency. She's not listening. And he did what I think was right. He was like, the killer is in the house. The killer is coming from inside the house. When William Shatner was on Family Guy. Why do I remember that?
I don't know why you remember that. I hate you now.
But we think that Jess is going to leave. So she starts walking to the door and she's screaming out for Barb and Phil. Cool.
Screaming,
y'all.
Giving
y'all another chance. I'm still giving y'all another chance to get out of here. They don't answer. They're dead.
So she decides to go upstairs.
She doesn't leave. No, she goes to get a hot poker.
At least she got a weapon, Tiffany. Now, out of all our reviews, how many reviews have we had where they don't grab a weapon? So I will give her.
She should have easily. I think. Did Nash tell her the cops are on the way now? Did he say that? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Oh, he did. Okay, so no. I'm gonna let the cops do what they need to do. Like I can't, but she does. So she goes upstairs, and both of the girls are sitting upright in the bed, dead with blood on them. That was really weird how they were posed.
Yeah.
Like, how many pillows were behind them?
I mean, he had time.
So Jess, this was the creepiest part of the movie. Jess looks to her left, and we see an eyeball looking at her like,
Bloodshot red. Bloodshot red. And he's sitting there and he starts talking all that Billy and Agnes shit. She say, I'm not trying to hear that. She slammed the door on him and he just starts screaming. Now, this is where you lose me. Because I don't understand.
I was lost.
She had a head start out of this world. She ran downstairs. She couldn't get out the front door. I don't know what the mechanics were with this, because he didn't lock the door. He didn't even have time to do it. He's been doing his own thing. He was sitting by himself for poses and pictures. So she couldn't get out the door. I didn't understand. And then she runs to another, but then he grabs her hair. I'm like, how did he? You had so much time.
He jumped down the stairs. He didn't take them one by one. He took them 4 by 4. But she's in the basement now. She locks it behind her and she's scared. She still got the hot polka. So she's just kind of like, okay, let me just hide down here till whatever. Here come Peter.
Now, why he thought she was in the basement, I don't know. It was like he just knew she was in the basement.
Hell, maybe he was working with the killer. Now that I'm
you know what I mean?
He was doing too much.
So yeah, he just like, Jesse down there, Jesse down there, Jesse down there. And she's like, oh my God, it's Peter. Peter's the killer. And instead of like going to the front door, going to another door, he just knows she's in the, I don't know how he knows she's in the basement. So he kicks it open. He kicks the window, like, you know, there's always a window in the basement. He kicks it open and he crawls down there. And he's like, Jess, where? And I'm like, this is really creepy. This was creepy to me. Even if when he's not the killer, he deserves to die for this. So she hiding behind some shit. He ends up seeing her. What are you doing down here? All we hear is her screaming. The police finally arrive 30 minutes later. And there's a couple of them. So I do appreciate that he didn't just go there by himself. There's a couple of
please. We're so sick of one cop coming.
Baby, and there's also a black cop, but the black cop got the shotgun. So I'm like, oh, y'all really? Oh, y'all care? Y'all care. He is armed to the teeth.
They found a white girl dead in the park. Of course they care.
Well, yeah, but the black cop there, I was like, oh my God. So yeah, they go tracing through. They end up in the basement and they see, I don't understand why she's knocked out. But yeah, they see Jess, she's knocked out. Peter on her lap, just dead. I don't know. He got blood in places. Beat him to death. Yeah, but I'm like, damn, like, okay. Swing away, Sam. Tell George, swing away. But yeah, so then she's in the bed. I guess they sedated her. I don't understand how she's not. I don't understand the whole her knocked out thing.
Why was she not at the hospital?
Because they sedated her in her bed at the sorority where murders happened.
It is an active crime scene.
And they're all in the room and...
Wait. And they know that the call was coming from inside the house and they still don't check.
They don't search the entire house. They just grab her, take her to her room, give her something. He's like, hey, when's she going to be up? I didn't talk to her. He talking about you ain't going to be able to talk to her till tomorrow. And they just leave her in her bed. Claire's dad done passed the fuck out. He done had shock. I don't know why he got like, I guess because the other girls are dead. So he just was like, oh shit, my daughter's dead. So they like take him to the damn hospital. So all the officers leave her in the room by herself with her door wide open. And there's an officer stationed outside of the house. Mind you, there was already an officer stationed outside of the house earlier, but his throat got slashed. So what the fuck?
Right.
This is why Nancy mama divorced your ass, because you're a terrible cop. And you had to move to Elm Street to redo your career because you fucking suck. So we pan out.
And Nancy probably was born the next day. Or he had already slept with Nancy's. He went back to her. He left her and went over to this place and then he went back to her. Because Nancy would have been, when did Nightmare on Elm Street come out? 83? 82? I think
we pan out. And we see that the killer is just up in the attic. Like, because they didn't search the house, he up in the attic and he laughing and singing. Mind you, Miss Mac and Claire are still in the attic. They don't even have all the bodies. They only have 2. So, and we just hear him, and you can still see Claire's body from the fucking attic outside. I'm just like, and the movie ends. We don't know who the killer is. We don't know why he was doing what he did. That is why I do not like the movie. Because
we don't know if she kept the baby.
Well, I imagine after all that rigmarole, she lost it. But I hate movies like this. But I need to know why.
Is there a sequel to this?
No, they just remade the 2006 one.
Oh.
But like we don't know anything. It's just some random guy just came to this house and decided to kill these women, and that's it. And the police are negligent as hell. But this does remind me of a tweet I saw where someone did say, basically, like, because with the Zodiac killer, basically all you had to do to get away with murder back then was just not be there when the police arrived.
Yeah. I just can't believe they didn't make a sequel to this. Like, I would have thought they would have. Well,
it got. I'm sorry. It got panned heavily when it first came out because it was a horror movie during Christmas time. Parents didn't like that. They were like, "Oh, these dark elements during Christmas." It was the 70s.
So weird.
It was
so weird because you used to.
It was the 70s.
You guys used to do a lot of things during the civil rights movement, but this is where you draw the line.
It is what they draw the line at. So they were very upset about that. And then they were just like, some people were like, it was a bad movie. It was just a guy killing girls, and there was no rhyme or reason. So it got mixed reviews. Of course, it's a cult classic now. It's so interesting how, I mean, like, and this doesn't mean anything. I'm just giving you context. I mean, Hocus Pocus got panned in theaters as well because it came out in fucking summer. So, yeah. Rating.
6.5 for me because I think the acting was really good for
a 70s movie.
Like, I believe Jess when she was screaming for.
Oh my god!
I was like, I felt that.
I told her to shut up. I told her to shut up because, baby, my neighbors are trying to sleep.
I definitely believe that. So 6.5 for me. I would recommend it. I don't think it was a bad movie. I wish that it had just a different ending. Like, we could have got a little bit more of the backstory of Billy. I'm going to assume that the killer is Billy and Agnes is the dead body that they found out in the woods. That's what I'm going to assume. That makes the most sense to me. But I feel like in that 2006 sequel, we're not going to spoil it, but they still used the Billy and Agnes trope in the 2006 sequel. So yeah, I wasn't disappointed. Von Dutch. I wasn't disappointed in it, cool with me.
I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Again, the ending is just the main part because after all the suspense, I need a good ending. I do not like when it's like, at the very least, let me know who he is. I don't care if the characters know. I need to know, and I did not get that.
It was a white guy.
Yeah. So with some long stringy hair, I don't know. It did look like Peter, but whatever. 5.5.
All right, guys, that will do it for 1974's Black Christmas. What did I say I was going to talk about? Christmas what?
Recommendations. Christmas movie recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
Ding dong dong dong. Silver bells.
So these are not horror movies, by the way, but 2 Christmas movies that I love to watch. I haven't watched them yet, but I'm going to get on the Lifetime Movie Network. Hallmark. Is it Hallmark? I don't know. Freeform. I love.
Those are all different.
I love on Prime Video Something from Tiffany's. I love that.
Really?
So cute.
Oh my god!
I thoroughly enjoy that movie, and I watch it every Christmas. It's not old either. So like, I think about like 2022 or something, 2021. I enjoy that. I
cannot believe you like that movie.
I love it. That's so cute. And then for musicals, I love the Mistletones. The one with Tia Mowry in it, where she wanted to start a cappella group for Christmas, and they wanted to sing in the mall.
Y'all, this is the same person who just started this episode out talking about she don't like musicals.
I love that one. It's so cute. It's so cute. So those 2 I would definitely recommend. You can find them hopefully on streaming, because they better be there, because I might watch one of them tonight.
Hello. Well, you gave 2, so I have to go 2, and it's very hard. I won't do the traditional ones because it's too easy. But 2 of my favorites, Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. It's the first Batman movie I ever saw. It happens during Christmas. It's a Christmas movie, and it just gives it a Christmas feel.
I mean, I'm not fighting you on that.
I know I'm fighting.
Somebody else might.
I'm explaining
but I'm not fighting you on it.
I'm just explaining. It's a great movie. Like Tim Burton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito. Like, come on now. It was just a stacked cast. So yeah, I really love Batman Returns for my Christmas movie. It is long, so be prepared. And also I like The Family Stone. The Family Stone is, you never see, it's like an amazing, it's on everything, Hulu, Prime, it's on everything, but it really is like a heartwarming Christmas story. It's a little sad at the end, but it's funny. It's like, again, packed cast. Like it was very good, and yeah, I love that movie. It's so heartwarming.
Thought you were gonna say Holiday Heart. And then I'll add one more, Die Hard, because now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
And I'll add one. Just Home Alone 2. Lost in New York. Always. I love that one. Don't like the original.
Okay. I am not a fan of either. But
really?
Yeah. So those are our Christmas recommendations. Go out and watch them. Go out, especially Mistletones and Something from Tiffany's. And Die Hard. I don't know about those other three. But that will do. That'll do it for 1974's Black Christmas. Please be sure to come back for our last Christmas horror movie review, which is going to be Gremlins with our friend Jay. Because he's not a special guest anymore. He's just our friend.
Yes. I was thinking about
not doing this.
I was thinking about doing like a Jay's Greatest Hits thing. I gotta see because I want to put him on our Instagram page. I know he has his own thing going on that he's about to launch, but I want just to show people, like, you know, like how we have our meet our co-host. I want him to have a.
Wait, is he trying to be nice right now?
Who?
Baby, what happened?
Jay?
What happened? You on drugs?
What are you talking about?
You on drugs?
What are you talking?
Want to compliment and boost and uplift Jay right now? This is weird.
Okay.
Y'all, I gotta go because I don't know. I'm scared. But we'll see you next week, okay? Bye, y'all.
Where did you hide it, Dan?